r/AskReddit. What would people take more seriously if it had a different name? Urinal cakes. They should be called piss deodorant. Piscuits. Message should be called savory salt. You could call it organic seaweed extract and it'd fly off the shelves at Whole Foods. Fanny packs, it could have been like utility pouch or hell. Even shitkeeper would be better than fanny pack. Edit. Holy hell y'all, I think I'm actually gonna rock one. I read a lot of your guys' responses and here's some solid names. Nutruck, Chaos Poucher, Koala the Ho-To-Go, and my personal favorite, the douchebag. I'm contemplating getting one and sewing it's a douchebag onto it. Thanks y'all. We call them bum bags in the UK, but that's also because fanny has a very different meaning here. Vagina valuable carrier, Kuta container, wizard sleeves special pocket. Morning sickness. It's not just in the morning. It's not just a generic sickness or slight nausea. It's potential months of what feels like a constant flu. It's not the puking that gets you. It's the near constant nausea. I think I'd rather give birth again than experience 6+ months of morning sickness. Hyperemesis gravidarium. Hyper-loss-emesis. Vomiting gravidarium while pregnant. Rename evacuation zones to death zones. Hurricanes to kill storms. You know, I'd stay to prove how awesome I am, but I really don't want to be in the death zone of this kill storm. It's just a name, like the Forbidden Zone, or the Zone of No Return. All the zones have names like that in the galaxy of terror. Terms for concussions and their effects. When people talk about a boxer's chin getting worse, what they mean is that this person has incurred more brain damage, making it harder for him to take a punch. A boxer who was knocked out took a shot to the head that shut his brain down. He did not go to sleep. A person who's had their bell rung just got some brain damage, etc. Even silly movie stuff like a guy knocking out his friend to shut him up, and then the friend is okay a few scenes later. No, that person would likely be throwing up and stumbling around if that really happened. Even the term mild traumatic brain injury is slightly misleading. It's mild compared to moderate brain injury, which is only mild in relation to moderate brain injury, which I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. Source. I'm a hobbyist boxer currently recovering from a concussion, i.e. brain. Ask me anything GE. Seriously, there was a period where I had 11 concussions in about 4 years. The doctor told me if I have another it'll be permanent damage and I'll never function right again. It's all permanent. I'm already not how I used to be. Concussions are serious. I had a brutal concussion in high school and at the time never thought much of it, but recently my mom told me my personality drastically changed around that time and I'm starting to think that was where my mental health problems started. Wear a helmet kids. Moose, call it what it is. Angry giant murder horse. Seriously, don't duck with a moose. They will mess you right up just for existing. Radiation burns, not sunburns. Star damage. I know it's obvious that the sun is hot, but if you really stop and think about it, it's fucking insane. Like compare how much heat you feel radiating off of a campfire. It's pretty intense, but if you back up like 3 feet it fades away. The stucking sun is millions of miles away and can still burn your skin. It's bananas. Edit. Beneath this comment is 100 replies from people who are smart enough to know the real science behind the sun's heat but not smart enough to see that 99 other people already made that comment. The Patriot Act. I know. When I first heard the name it sounded like it was something great, then you read what it does and damn. Exactly why they named it that way. Actually most everything that goes through Congress right now has a flowery, feel good, and wholly misleading name to hide the terrible shit inside. Or their other favorite, this bill makes it super illegal to kick puppies. Like super illegal. Also it lets us beat people with sticks and take their wallets. Headline. Party X votes against anti-puppy kicking bill. The Texas Testicle Festival. It's a religious revival and their motto is come have a ball with Jesus. Edit. Here. The Testy Festy. That's kinda hilarious. Broom rape. The crop failure that plant genus causes and how dangerous it is because of it is highly overshadowed by that ridiculous name. Edit. I've never seen a single episode of 13 Reasons Why and all the mentions of the show are both confusing and terrifying. Don't forget rapeseed aka canola. Deadlifting. Sounds not too bad. but should be called skinned alive. No, that name is perfect. It instantly ducks me up and fully illustrates the concept in excruciating mental detail. DuckDuckGo. I think I would use it more if it had a less ridiculous name. Same with GoDaddy. When that first came out I thought it was a porn site. Edit. This whole time I thought that DuckDuckGo was also a domain host. Still though, GoDaddy is terrible. Walkie talkies. Speechy reachis. Ambly ramblies. Deep vein thrombosis can kill you but sounds like a porno term. Complex numbers. There's nothing about them that inherently makes them complex, but they were called that essentially because early mathematicians didn't like them. Some people have suggested lateral numbers because they are closely tied to the ideal of rotation and translation. I personally think something like complete numbers because they are algebraically complete would be cool. Waterboarding. Sounds like a fun activity for a day at the lake with family. Ah yes, drowning torture. If Facebook was called Creepy Uncle with a Peephole. Creepy Uncle with a Peephole. Doorbell camera. Didn't some journalists go around asking people about the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare and got different responses from people like they were two different things? Journalist. So what do you think of the ACA? Person 1. Oh, it's great. I'm all for it. Journalist. And Obamacare? Person 1. Duck it. Duck it to hell. It was the Jimmy Kimmel crew, not a journalist. But you're pretty much right otherwise. Interviews start at 0:50. Here's a relevant article that also includes the video. Edit. Here's an even better article that supports Kimmel's bit. Distracted driving. You're behind the wheel of 3,000 pounds machine and doing stuff like texting while driving isn't taken as seriously as it should be by many people. It blew my mind when I realized that medicine bottles saying do not operate heavy machinery on this meant cars, not like cranes. Most of us wield an insanely powerful machine on a day-to-day basis, half the time not being careful, and we treat it like it's nothing. ADHD. People treat it like it's just about not paying attention and being hyper. It can be crippling. I really want it to be called something like attention regulation disorder. Attention deficit is wildly inaccurate. Dental plaque. Your lymphers are good with leaving that shit on and in between your teeth for hours, days, and weeks on end. Guess what? That stuff is bacteria that ate your food, and possibly teeth, and grew into a community of their own poop, dead and live bacteria, and leftover food. It's like wiping your ass after a good dump, but you're okay with leaving that shit clinging to your anus. Gross. So, I call it dental poo. That way my patients are more apt to brush and floss it off. TLDR. You eat little pieces of shits for breakfast? Edit. You're making me proud. Your teeth look okay in general, but make sure to get all of that dental poo off before you come to see me again. Be right back. I gotta go brush my teeth. I'm not kidding. Borderline personality disorder sounds so mild. It isn't. Edit. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. And, a different kind of thanks to all the replies describing BPD as terrifying, which isn't a fun way to think of oneself. Edit 2. I wasn't trying to say that terrifying isn't accurate. It absolutely is. It just isn't fun to think about the fact that I'm terrifying. Depression. The name currently conflates an emotion and a completely separate mental illness. That's why when discussing it I say clinical depression. Bullying. Call it what it is. Harassment and assault. No, you don't understand. It can't be assault or harassment if it's between kids. Half the things that happen at school, even at 10% its intensity outside of it real world, would require to sue or even imprison someone. School bullying. Bullying sounds like kids just being mean, but peer abuse sounds like a serious problem that warrants legal action. Asperger's. Edit. It has come to my attention that the term Asperger's is not used very much anymore, and a good bit of doctors now call it ASD, autism spectrum disorder. But plenty of people joked about the name when it was more common and the media was reporting about it a lot. Edit number 2. Holy hell, this is blowing up fast, thanks kind strangers. That's why I usually just say I'm on the spectrum, which people then used to assume I'm LGBTQ. Gerrymandering. If we called it what it is, state corruption, or whistleblowing, if you call it like anti-corruption or something. It's so bad that somebody even turned it into a font. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. Thanks for watching, mate. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more high quality content.